episode 2 of What's That Meme? Show where we look at memes and pull spiritual truths from them. And here is today's meme.
So this meme, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it right now because I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Zoom, honestly. I love that it allows us to stay connected to family and students and friends, but I also hate that it reminds me how disconnected we are at the moment.
Yeah.
My days are also like planned around Zoom meetings at the moment. I feel like I'm just living life in between Zoom appointments. So there's that. And I also think it's funny to think about Jesus at a Zoom Last Supper, because the Last Supper, the Passover meal, was supposed to be with your family around a table in your house. It was personal, it was intimate. And so to see this picture of him being so isolated from everyone else, it's the opposite of what you would picture a Passover meal to be.
Yeah, I think I find humor in it because, like, as a teacher, like, I think about Jesus, kind of being like how we are, like, hey, there, Peter, like, I'm only catching the top of your head there, man. Can you adjust that camera angle? Or
hey, Matthew, that background's a little distracting. Could you change that for us?
John, you need to unmute yourself, man. We're not hearing anything you say. I don't know, it's funny. But as I think about it, like of course that's where we would find Jesus.
On a Zoom.
On Zoom. If the Last Supper were to be in 2020, we would find Jesus on Zoom, because throughout all of Scripture, we see God passionately pursuing his people. And we see him showing up where his people are gathered. In fact, Jesus, when he would come into a new town, he would go to the synagogue where the people were gathered, the hub of the city, and talk to them and be with them. And so it makes sense that if the Last Supper were in 2020, that Jesus would be on Zoom, because that's where we are. Yeah. We live our life on Zoom currently.
Absolutely. But I think it's also important to remember that he doesn't have to use Zoom, in the sense that he is with us. He's with us in our house, in our isolation by ourselves, and he doesn't have to connect via Zoom. Would he? Could he? Absolutely, for sure. But does he need to? Well, no, because he's in our hearts already.
Yeah. And I think as I think about the Last Supper being Maundy, Thursday, and like the sacrifice that he knew was coming, as he enjoyed this last meal with his friends, Jesus is willing to do whatever it takes to grab hold of our hearts. And in fact, as he had this meal, he was preparing to give the ultimate sacrifice, to give up his life. And he's still, that passion, that desire to do whatever he takes. He still has that today for us. He still wants to win our hearts, and he's going to do whatever it takes, even if it means jumping on Zoom.
Okay, here's 2 points that we want to make sure you take away for today. 1, God passionately pursues us. We see that in every page of the Bible. Every page of the Bible is just another illustration of how God passionately pursues his children.
2, God is always with us. He'll never leave us. In fact, 2 Corinthians tells us that he will make his dwelling among us, and that he will walk with us, and that we will be his people, and he will be our God.
And here's one reflection question that you can think about. Over the last month, how have you experienced God passionately pursuing you?
Thanks for watching. What's That Mean? Episode 2.